Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be working on mainly this stone. So I'm going to quickly just cut and finish this one, which will give us a good idea on what's going on with this one. And then off camera, I'll probably slice up this one and then we'll probably work on this big stone at some later point in time. This one is just a little scrap and I don't know, I'll think of something to do with that. But I need to get this little project done because the person, a huge supporter of the channel, has already sent over another parcel. So I've got to get on to finishing this one, checking out that one. The unboxing of that package will be next, and it should be pretty interesting. I've seen one of the stones in it, and their mine is producing some interesting stuff. So very different to this. A lot of variety, and I'm more than happy to work on it for them. But yeah, I'll quickly just get the sintered diamond. The basic aim of this is I'll probably actually just get the saw and slice off the majority of this. That's the best thing about having a trim saw or even just your Dremel saw. You can just cut this off because even though I've got the really coarse sintered diamond burrs, they do take quite a while to get through all of that. It's a big chunk. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slice, and then I'll bring the stone back. We'll polish this one because it'll give us a good idea on what this one's going to end up looking like. And then, yeah, I'll have to do a slice job and polish on this one at some point as well. Hopefully, we should finish the video with a nice little, probably teardrop shaped stone here. There's a little bit of fog over this side still, which needs to come down. And yeah, we'll hopefully have one finished stone. So let's dive in. And here we go. I'm going to do this a little bit differently today. I'm going to not speed up the footage so you get a real time kind of thing, but I'll just chop down the footage a lot. So here we're just doing the slice, 1-inch electroplated diamond saw, knock that off, do that a couple more times to get rid of it. I think I got 3 pieces in the end that I snipped off like that. And then you just want to go for the 80 grit sintered diamond. And at first you can see I'm moving pretty fast and not really caring too much. But then I turn it down a little bit and just gently do it. It's still going to chip no matter how gentle you do it. So just be careful around the edges, especially the face edge. And yeah, make sure you're going in this kind of direction and not with the stone because you might actually chip the face. And here I'm just checking the setting edge. So I want a nice sharp edge. Then we're switching over to the 120 grit sintered diamond and basically just lightly, very lightly, because the 120 is still pretty scary, lightly just going across everywhere we hit with the 80 and just having a bit of an intermediate step before the 600 grit. At which point we're doing the same thing, just lightly, but with a little less trepidation. We're just kind of going at it. You can see here that I'm going at an angle, kind of like a 45, and then I switch to the other 45. That's just to make sure that we keep it fairly flat and keep that straight setting edge and a bit of circular motion. Just basically don't just stay in one plane. Otherwise you run the risk of it starting to get not so flat. And then we're working the face, trying to get that fog down. And it's an interesting stone, this one. The fog doesn't disappear all that well, as you'll see, but we do get somewhere with it. And yeah, just focusing on getting it down, keeping an eye on that bar, making sure we're not going too far. And then, like the classic 600 grit, we're going to move on to the novas. So with your fingers, just check the edges, feel around, make sure there's nothing sharp, because that resin will get cut quite quickly. So I feel that one definitely too sharp. You can see it here that it's way too sharp and the face is a bit uneven, so we've got to work on that. Get it nice and smooth, get it non-sharp, and just keep going at the face. Try to clear up more of that fog and even up the face a little bit. Both ends seem to dip a little bit down. I can't remember if that was me or whether that was the stone originally. I think that part was already exposed. And you can see here, we went to this point before giving up and saying, all right, this is probably as good as it's going to get. We can make it a little bit better with the black nova, brown nova, but we don't want to risk losing all our color. So we're going to have to stop at this point, which is a little bit disappointing. It's a bit meant to be like. The face is a little bit shy on this one, but you can see it is starting to come through. Black 280 grit all over the face. Not really any rhyme or reason to it other than keeping it nice and smooth. Keep the burr moving and you won't get any flat spots or indents. And then same for the brown, grey, and finally the rose 3000, at which point we start to get a fairly nice polish on it. For some reason, this stone polishes incredibly well, and the 3000 grit actually resulted in what you can see there. So a fairly polished stone. But then we're gonna switch over to the Cerium Oxide and do the usual. Such a fun part. All the stress is gone, and you're just getting it shinier. Alright, and here we are, fully polished. It took a really good polish, and it was really fast too, which was quite surprising because this feels so hard, and it's very much like Minterby. Unfortunately, it is pretty cloudy, which is reminiscent of Minterby as well. There's some areas where it really comes through crystal clear, but then there's some areas like in the guts here that I tried to clear up, but it didn't quite work out. And I was keeping the shape intact because you can see here there were some little spots that were making me think it might clear up over this edge. But now that I've got it fully done like this and polished, I'm actually thinking that just off camera, because we don't want a lot of wasted space, and there is a lot of rubbish over this side, so I'm thinking of actually bringing this right in. So I'm actually going to take this edge all the way in like I've textured on here, and then it'll be a little bit more symmetrical, but also the color will go right up into the edge instead of falling just short, because then you get that fried egg kind of look where there's a bit of potch around the outer edge, whereas this side goes nice and even right up to the edge, and you can see it just peeking through here. Unfortunately, some of those little black potchy parts come through and spread across the face a bit, but overall it's not too bad. It doesn't bode well for the massive chunk that I've got to do next. Hopefully it's a little bit better than this one and it cleans up a little bit more, because this one did always look fairly foggy. Now in terms of the edge and what I've done, so I've kept it really straight and really sharp, because I believe that's the best for a kind of a setting edge. I'm not a jeweler myself, but I've talked to a few recently and they want a nice sharp straight edge on the side so that a bezel can nicely wrap around quite easily, and then they just bezel it over. So we're going to try to keep that nice and straight for all our future cuts. The back I haven't done anything with yet. You can see here it's about 3 mils to this black. So I do have to take in basically all the way up until that black potch on both sides, and it's a nice straight line, so it actually makes it quite easy. I'll measure it around just in case, but it is pretty much spot on. I've already done a quick little caliper measure. So just a tiny bit of work left to go on this one, and then it's done. And yeah, the next video on the channel should be me unboxing this one, because I've already got sent the next batch of stones, so I really have to get this one done and then the big one done so I can pack those up and get ready to send them off. Hopefully these ones in here will be a bit easier. They feel like there's a few smaller stones in here, so it won't take me quite as long as this big one, because the Dremel really, it was sweating hard trying to get these ones complete. All in all though, nice little red stone, very green from a sharp angle, but it's hard to show that off on the camera. What we can do now is just trim this one up, finish it off, and then move on to the big one, get it done, and yeah, we'll have plenty more stones to come, and hopefully more gemmy than this one, but it did try its hardest. Just a little bit Minterby-like. If it wasn't straight from the miner in Lightning Ridge, New South Wales, I wouldn't believe that it's from Lightning Ridge, but it is. It's just very reminiscent of Minterby. But what can you do but move on? So see you in the next video.